Hi guys, Penny Rose Journals. How you doing? Okay, I am here with some salt, some vinegar, and some water. And we are going to do a bit of rust dyeing. And yeah, I'm rust dyeing some fabric. You've seen me do this before. This is just a bundle dye technique. I don't, soak it in water or anything, but I just grab my dry fabric and pile up rusty things on it. Soak it in a bit of vinegar, salt and water just as I go, and wrap it up and leave it. So yeah, we're just going to prepare a couple of bundles today, and then they're going to sit for a week or two depending on what's going on in my life. And then I'll come back and unwrap them and show you what happened. So yeah, super simple process. It does make the house smell a little bit like a fish and chip shop. So yeah, if you can handle that, do it inside. If you can't handle that, then I suggest you keep these somewhere safe out of the dust and dirt and weather in outside of your house, because yeah, it does get quite strong. Because my craft room is upstairs in basically the attic, yeah, I just do it outside on the landing outside my door here. It doesn't bother me too much. I kind of like fish and chips, so it does make me a little hungry sometimes, walking up the stairs and getting hit in the face with a wall of vinegar, but I do keep it inside. The smell doesn't go downstairs, it just stays upstairs, so it doesn't faze me at all. But if you are sensitive to things like that, I suggest that this is maybe an outside sort of thing. So anyway, let's get to it. I'm just going to start piling stuff up. All my rusty stuff is basically little office supplies, and there's a few thimbles in there, some keys, a few Christmas bells, just random things that I had around that were getting rusty. Yeah, so there's a few little tools and drills and whatnot in there as well, I think. So yeah, anything you've got that's a bit rusty, just toss it in and see what happens. Now this is not an exact science. I just throw in some water, some vinegar, some salt, wherever I feel like it. There's no measurements. I just dump it on and hope for the best. In the end of the day, when I peel this all apart, I'm just going to throw it in my washing machine and give it a good wash, dry it, and then iron it because it gets really crumpled. This is literally the only time I use my iron. That and to melt beeswax. So yeah, I will iron all of these once they're done. But yeah, so it's not an exact science. What happens, and I'm happy with it. I also have no idea what all these fabrics are. I know what some of them are. Obviously, I've got some calico, or if you're in somewhere other than Australia, muslin, I think. It's mainly old clothes. The calico is actually from clothes patterns. Yeah, it's just clothes that were made as a prototype. So I've torn it all apart, and yeah. So yeah, this is all old clothes from the op shop or wherever. So it could be made of anything. I really don't know what most of it is. But anyway, it will take rust or it won't take rust. It really doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't rust up. I'll just wash it and throw it back in my stash with something else. So, but anyway, we're just gonna layer it up and see what happens. when I get to the point where I feel like there's enough in there, I just wrap it up. I have a piece of large fabric on the bottom, so I can just wrap it up in a bundle. And I'm going to give it a little bit of a massage to to make sure that it's sort of damp all the way through. Like I say, I have this upstairs with me. It's sitting on my desk. I'm going to take it out into the landing and put it on some chests that I've got out there, so I don't want it to be sopping wet because I just don't want it dripping everywhere while I'm moving it. Just so long as everything is damp everywhere, I'm happy with it. So I'll give it a quick sort of squish down a few times, soak up any water that's lying around, and I'm calling it done. And I will move on and make another one so that we've got a couple underway. But there we go, a little rust mummy. I'll take that and put it aside and make another one. I was just searching around for a larger piece of fabric then to put on the base, and I found this. As you can see, it was probably an old skirt. So I'm going to use another piece of fabric next to it, and that should make a decent base layer for us to get started on. So yeah, just the same process: bit of water, bit of vinegar, bit of salt, lots of cloth and some rusty things. And then we will wrap it up and put it aside. And yeah, I did this a few weeks ago, prior obviously to doing the video and to doing the voiceover. And it actually did sit for 2 weeks. I don't usually leave it for that long, but I had a lot going on, so I didn't get back to it. And yeah, there was circumstances under which I did not want to be dragging piles of rust smelling vinegary cloth down the stairs and washing them. Yeah, I had a house full of people, so I just left it where it was until they left, and then yeah, got into it. But yeah, you can do these probably within sort of, you know, a week. I mean, it's hot here at the moment. I think the rust blooms a lot quicker in hot weather. If you were doing it in the middle of a snowy winter, I wouldn't know because we don't have that kind of weather here, but I would assume that you should probably leave it a bit longer at that rate. But here in the heat, I can, it starts to bloom the next day. I can see it on the outside. So yeah, I usually leave it for around sort of 3 days to a week. That's plenty. But yeah, there was no reason not to leave it for the 2 weeks. I did notice one thing. I put a handkerchief in the first bundle, and because it sat against something copper, I think it was next to a key for the 2 weeks, it actually chewed a hole in the handkerchief. So yeah, I guess watch out for that if that's something that's going to bother you. I think it's cool, but but some of the more delicate fabrics do react by breaking down when they're next to rusty things of a particular kind. So yeah, just watch that if it's something that you're concerned about. But other than that, yeah, just let it do its thing and see what you end up with. It's not an exact science. You're never going to be able to predict what's going to happen. And here they are after the 2 weeks, and yeah, you can see quite a bit of rust bloom on the outside. There's not too much. Yeah, they're quite dry. Like I say, it's very hot here, so over the 2 weeks they have dried out completely. There's no dampness at all here. So I am just going to pick out all these rusty things and put them aside as I go. I don't want those to end up in my washing machine. I will be putting these into bags before I put them in my washing machine. I use those sort of protective bags that you put your underwear in and stuff, if you have fancy underwear, you know, bras with underwires and that kind of thing. I use those kind of bags, and yeah, I pop them in the washing machine in those just in case I miss a rusty bit, or because this is torn fabric and a lot of it's quite delicate fabric, it frays quite easily. I don't want a huge pile of frayed pieces of, you know, strings of fabric all through my washing machine. So this keeps it all in one place. Yeah, it gets washed thoroughly. I don't pack the bags very full, but I just put several in at a time. And if it does fray, then it's all contained into the bag, and you know, ditto with the bits of rusty stuff that don't end up scattered through my washing machine, jamming things up. So yeah, that's the way I do it. And then I just throw it in the dryer normally. Sometimes I will pin it on a line, but most likely I will toss it in the dryer, just in the bags, and just let it do its thing. Sometimes, because it's in a bag, it will come out a bit damp, but I'm going to take it upstairs and iron it then, so that's okay. The bit of dampness is fine. It's surprising how little of this rust colour actually washes out. It's pretty set in there, so you'll see it once I come back with it. But for now, let's just get it all cleaned up and ready to go into the washing machine. Here is that handkerchief that I was talking about that got a bit of a hole in it. As you can see, these things are quite stuck. So yeah, that's where we end up with our hole, and yeah, I'm quite happy with it. Looks interesting. Okay, well that's our first bundle done. I'm not going to subject you to the second bundle. I will just bring you back and show you what our results are. And here we have it. It's all ironed and folded and ready to show you. So there is quite a lot of it. I will go through as much as I think you can probably stand. But yeah, it did turn out well. I'm really quite happy with this die. Some of it will stay like this. Some of it might even get tossed into a batch die sometime and just added to basically. This rust die will stand up to a batch die. The rust will stay in the fabric if I throw it into a batch die. So yeah, it'll just provide another layer, another color, another bit of interest to my fabric. But yeah, most of it will probably just stay as it is because, well, I quite like it as it is. And it's handy for all sorts of things. I use it in clusters, I use it to make ruffles and just embellishments in general. Sometimes I sew it together and make bigger pieces of fabric out of it, but yeah, use it wherever you use fabric in a journal. So anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Like I say, super simple thing to do and something that basically does itself. You just wait for the results. So yeah, we've got to like crafting like that. I will sign off now and leave you guys to watch the rest of this fabric. This is all I'm going to do for the rest of the video, so if you've seen enough, please feel free to wander off anytime you like. Okay guys, thank you very much for sticking with me for the duration today. It's been something a bit different and I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.